in a few days, it'll be Black History Month. And we got corruption in the Black Caucus and Congress, concealing the entire judicial branch of government is corrupt. So we start at the top, and while we're going at the top, it's got to be the number one man, President of the United States. To the White House, the Constitution's checks and balances, and the transfer of power. Now, the Constitution's checks and balances for the President of the United States, taking oath of office, swore to preserve, protect, and defend, of which he was called to do. As you see right here, that was January 2021, and he ain't done that. That violates his oath of office to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution, checks and balances. That violates his number one duty under Article 2, Section 3, to carefully and faithfully see to it that the federal laws are executed. And here it is, the Constitution, checks and balances, of which he fails to execute. So we're going to start it off, as I said, how y'all going to get voting rights and the Congressional Black Caucus in itself is corrupt. Now, I'm going to tell you what the Black Caucus does to begin with, so you know they dropped the ball. The Congressional Black Caucus was established in 1971 to put forth policy and legislation that ensured equal rights, opportunity, and access to Black Americans and other marginal communities. It is a nonpartisan body made up of African American members of Congress. The CBC was created during the high point of the Black Power movement, when African Americans wanted greater political influence and were gaining more seats in Congress. The Congressional Black Caucus of Black members of Congress who seek to be the voice for people of color and vulnerable communities in Congress, and has been committed to utilizing the full, listen to what I'm saying, full constitutional power, statutory authority, and financial resources of the government of the United States of America to ensure that everyone in the United States has an opportunity to achieve the American dream. Now that's where it all got messed up. They made it a dream. What I'm going to be talking about is the law itself. Now, as they were supposed to be the voice of Black Americans, they called out. They got to man up, of which they failed to do. So, give you what they're supposed to do reference to. Impose obligations on President Joe Biden, concealing the Constitution, checks and balances. It's a criminal pursuit to Title 18, 241, conspiracy to deny rights and oppress, with the Treasury owing $6.75 billion for continued oppression by Janet Yellen. She is the Secretary of the Treasury. President Biden must be held accountable for obligations under Article 2, Section 3. Faithfully see to it that the federal laws are executed. Now, here's what he's supposed to do, and right off the bat, the Constitution, checks and balances are an essential part of the Constitution, absolutely necessary to stop corruption, and extremely important to secure the rights of we the people, of which the president hasn't done. So, we got the president not doing his duty. Now the Black Caucus is supposed to be the voice, and I done called out them to be the voice. Call a press conference, a national press conference. This is a public concern with the president corrupt. See, when it all goes up and it keeps on going up, and it gets to the top, the buck stops with the president. If the president ain't here to fulfill his oath of office, ain't nobody gonna do it. Cause the buck stops with the president. But as we go with this Black Caucus here, just yesterday, I called him to take my call a press conference for the Constitution checks and balances, which is mandatory by law. They ain't even following the law. That's the criminal act. I am veteran Deshae Miller, petitioner of the Constitution checks and balances, which empowers the citizen. That will be me. I am that man. Powers the citizen to government corruption, which requires a showdown. You got to prove this before a candid world. Requires a showdown between myself and the United States Attorney General Merrick Garland to prove before a candid world corruption in the entire judicial branch of government. Call a national press conference January 25th to amplify President Biden imposed obligations under Article 2, Section 3 to faithfully see to it that the federal laws are executed, which is the Constitution's checks and balances. That's what this is. This is that other level. This ain't what they told you about. Okay, so while we telling somebody about something. Now we got them that was supposed to educate, empower, and elect. Now, as I already just said, I'm empowered to stop police brutality, inequality, and social injustice, and this is what they were supposed to do. Educate y'all to this, empower me, and they ain't said nothing. What they had was a 52 fake out. In cahoots with the government. They part of government, you know they all be lying. Put it to the test. Then you know, this is the test, this is that. Now, what? Joyce, Beatty, you see it, arrested. Now yesterday is saying today. And then you see it, you got a video of it, they gonna put that all out there. That's a diversion. She go out there trying to get voters' rights for black people, which ain't worked. Why you gonna keep on doing the same thing that don't work? Well, it don't make sense. If it don't make sense, it don't make dollars. And as you already see, I'm talking about $6.75 billion. Now that uplifts the people. Because what we do, we got banks, we got jobs, we got housing, we got all this stuff for the poor people, the homeless, and all of that other kind of stuff. That's $6.75 billion for a nation. Oh yeah, I am that man. I be like it's raining, baby. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, and that's what. See, I represent we the people. When you see mine, it be saying we the people on the court documentations. I represent we the people. So this ain't gonna be no Jay-Z, no Oprah Winfrey. We not just handing out turkeys on Turkey Day. You see what I'm saying? As I said, oh, you don't got a credit score, you ain't getting no loan. But over here, you will get a loan. Poor people's loan. That's what we ought to call it. Poor people's bank. Poor people's loan. You see what I'm saying? Those that trying to uplift themselves. You can't uplift themselves. I heard him talking about the other day about doing something for the poor people. And then they backed out. I ain't saying his name because he's kind of stupid, ignorant, and belligerent, so there is no need to speak on those kind of people. But what we're speaking on is the subject. You see, if you're going to help some poor people, you can't give them $5 or $10 so they can get the next meal and send them back to the streets. But if you give them $50,000, that'll change a man's life. If a man is doing all right, $50,000 change a whole lot of people's life. Those billionaires, they ain't got to worry about that. This is what I'm talking about, the rights of we the people. Now, in doing this, as I said, they don't want to see me. Because, first of all, as I said in a prior video to this, just singling out the Black Caucus, because Congress ain't doing it at all, period. You see, this is something they want to continue to do. They are not honoring the Constitution. They are obligated. That's what I'm telling you about the president. He's obligated to honor this checks and balances. If the judicial branch of government is corrupt, they have to be checked. Now, we bring in here Senator Todd Young of Indiana. Oh, yeah. Reference 2. Take the Constitution's checks and balances to the floor of the Senate tomorrow. That was January the 20th, 2022. Oh, yeah. Today is January the 25th, 5 days ago. The urgency is when the entire branch of government is corrupt, it needs to be shut down. The entire judicial branch of government is corrupt. Take the Constitution checks and balances to the floor of the Senate January 20th, which President Biden must address publicly for corruption in the judicial branch of government imposed in slavery. That's major. That's our right to freedom. Continued oppression. That means they had no intentions of stopping this. And organized crime. Because when petitions are brought for the crooked judges, the U.S. attorneys are covering it up by not bringing no charges. How do you become above the law? You commit a crime and not be held accountable. When the U.S. attorneys and the judges and they're all in the same organization, which is the judicial branch of government, that's organized crime. Ask the mafia, they'll tell you what that's about. Yeah, so this is large of what Congresswoman Joyce Beatty did, running out there playing like she was doing this. So I'm going to give you a perspective. I'm going to give you some common sense. If you're trying to get voters' rights, why are you asking for a piece of the pie? I want the whole pie. Give me equality. I am empowered by the Constitution's checks and balances of what I reiterate to you that's before the President of the United States. The Constitution's checks and balances. The President is committing criminal acts. Oh, why ain't the media? Because they covering that up to continue oppression. They call that in cahoots. You know, hey Joe, me and you going to rob. We in cahoots. Committing a crime. This is criminal. It's criminal even to conceal it. Title 18, Section 1001, concealment of the fact. When you conceal these kind of facts, that's a criminal act, of which too much given, much is expected. We have given him the seat of the President of the United States. If he cannot uphold the integrity of the Constitution, he cannot be the leader of a free people. That's just how it goes. Walter Cronkite, January 25th, 2022. Yeah. So now, here it is in writing once again. Senator Todd Young called a press conference informing the public of the checks and balances petition because the judicial branch imposed slavery, oppression, denying the First Amendment right to speech press. Not just speech. See, you got caught up in and didn't finish reading. You didn't do the full assignment. It says speech press. That means when you got something this large to talk about what I'm talking about, as I am empowered to stop police brutality, as I am empowered to stop inequality. Now, it said to educate them. The public don't know because the media concealed it from them, so they need to be educated. That's the First Amendment right. Speech press. Now, we need to pull that up because it's a little bit deeper than that. The purpose of the speech press clauses was evidently being to protect parties in the free publication of matters of public concern, to secure their right to a free discussion of public matters, When we talking about the United States Supreme Court is corrupt, then you cannot get justice. Major League Baseball, give me a platform. That's what y'all advertising for justice. Well, here I am. I am that man. Now, once again, public measures and enable every citizen at any time to bring the government and any person in authority to the bar of public opinion by any just criticism upon their conduct in the exercise of authority which the people have conferred upon them. Now, I told him to call a press conference. That's Senator Todd Young, of which he failed to do. First Amendment says, speech press. The people need to know. Now, to show you the devilment, see, when you say devilment, you associate that with evil. So we continue about the First Amendment because the writers are talking about evil. The evils to be prevented were not the censorship, merely the censorship of the press, but any action of the government by means of which it might prevent free and general discussion of public matters as seems absolutely essential, listen, to prepare the people for an intelligent exercise of their rights. You see, they doing the same thing. Going out there protesting, went out there and what she do? She's a senator, went out, no, she's a congressman, my fault. Congressman went out there and got arrested for protesting for the rights to vote, which is a constitutional right for everybody, not just blacks. So, in the education of that, I educate you how to do that. And we going back because I'm going to reiterate it so you get it in. The Constitution checks and balances. The Judicial Branch has to be checked, of which I have evidence of imposed slavery. That's a public confirmed. The right to freedom is worldwide. Being worldwide, okay now, Secretary General Antonio Guterres, I need world coverage on this. That's how big it is. Who am I? Veteran, United States Air Force, served to protect the right to freedom, justice, and America. So where's the patriotism? Don't tell me we thank you for your service. No, stand up now. It's time to stand up. Be a man. Make history in America that the American citizens, the American public stood up and required the officials to do what they were supposed to do. For the Constitution, securing the constitutional rights for everybody. They call them guaranteed. Now, in this being guaranteed, I'm saying the United States Supreme Court itself is corrupt. So, we jump over to here. United States Supreme Court. Writ of certiorari, which is habeas corpus. The petition's restraint is in violation of the Constitution and the laws of the United States and filed a writ of habeas corpus. Government powers are limited. Article 1, Section 2, Article 1, Section 9 is the habeas corpus. The habeas corpus is what part of made them sign the Constitution. People had to make sure they had a way and a right to their own freedom. What was that? The writ of habeas corpus. The writ's root principle is that government must always be accountable for the judiciary for a man's imprisonment. The judiciary is the judges. Now, when the United States Supreme Court justices are corrupt, impose slavery, they gotta be checked. I'm right. God can't be wrong. When the president is called for the Constitution checks and balances, he cannot. That ain't what he can't do that. Refuse to honor it, not acknowledge it. Wait a minute, let me get back to that. Talking about some acknowledgement. This is what the president's supposed to do right off the bat. Immediately address the Constitution checks and balances petitioned by veteran Judicial Miller, which is an essential part of the Constitution, mandatory by law. Now, the President of the United States himself is not conceding to the demands of the law. And then he run around with the Vice President acting like they trying to do something for voters' rights. Stop there. This is how this is done. It's a power movement. Power concedes to nothing but by the man. Frederick Douglass. So you got to go back in your history and study your history and find out how those that came before us did this. You got a blueprint. This is a blueprint of how to do this. Because they concealing it from y'all by not giving me any media when that's my First Amendment right. Enables every citizen at any time. Well, now it's time. It's showtime, baby. Y'all got that video up too. Showdown, showtime. That's right. They have to honor the Constitution checks and balances. But the sickening part about it is our own so-called representatives ain't done nothing. Yeah, bailed out, put up a smoke screen. We out here getting arrested for telling the rights to vote. No, they ain't. They've been called out to do this, as I just showed you. Black Caucus Executive Director Vincent Evans, Congresswoman Joyce Beatty, chairperson. That's who you saw get arrested. Daryl Doss, Policy Director. As I said, call a press conference January 25th to amplify. That's why everybody needs to know this. That the president imposed obligations under Article 2, Section 3 to see that the federal laws are executed. Right off the bat, he didn't even do what he said. Part of running for office was we going by the law. I just said the politicians be lying. Now you're seeing the truth. I ain't lying about this. There it is. Now, transfer of power. Another thing that they don't want you to know. In the government of the people, by the people, and for the people, when the government officials are corrupt, the Constitution checks and balances empowers the citizen. I am the petitioner of the Constitution checks and balances. I am that man. Checks and balances empower the citizen to uphold the integrity of the Constitution, giving me, Judicial Miller, the authority or power to give orders, make decisions, and enforce obedience to the Constitution's checks and balances. Requiring the judicial and legislative be checked for corruption and abuse of power. Why they not honoring this? They not trying to be checked. They violating the law. This is a criminal act. But they took an oath of office. I'm going to put up my left hand because they was lying. Originally intended, the legislative checks the judicial, who checks the executive, who checks the legislative, Supreme Court. But in this case, no branch checked the other branch because they all corrupt. Thus, the checks and balances empowers the citizen, and being the petitioner, as I keep telling you, I'm going to reiterate, I got the power. I tell law enforcement what to do, and the FBI director, Christopher Wray, is a part of this. You can go to thefbiray.blogspot.com and see that he did not uphold the Constitution, also concealed the checks and balances. He himself is a criminal. Concealing the checks and balances, he himself is in conspiracy to deny rights. Title 18, Section 241. And oppress. That's right. As Janet Yellen, Secretary of the Treasury, you was to assume. That's right. When you came into office, you had to assume the default. You had to assume the miscarriage of justice by slavery being imposed. And pay the man like you at the box office. Pay the man like a lottery ticket. Pay the man who sit man in the Brinks trucks. I ain't playing about this. It's a showtime. This calls for a national protest. February 1st, the start of Black History Month. All black schools, take note of this video right here. This is what you need to do. Stand up, be a man. Can't do nothing laying down all your life, bending over. That's what they tell them to do. Head down, up. You know what I'm saying? I don't need to say a whole lot. You know what I'm saying now. As I showed you, and all of them, I told them, all of them. Now, I called out for the Black Caucus to do this, but any person in government service, the code of ethics for government service, put loyalty to the highest moral principles and the country above loyalty to government persons. Uphold the Constitution, laws, and legal regulations of the United States and of all governments therein, and never be a part of their evasion. They use the word evasion. The correct word is concealment, because that's a criminal act. As I said, Title 18, Section 1001, of which the president has done, concealing the fact that I'm in power, in the transfer of power, because they was corrupt. I told you. Now, the FBI, Sheriff's Department, and both local and state police will all be called upon to execute the indictments by arresting all involved in cahoots to prevent the checks and balances taking over government, mostly reverting to the Maryland doctrine of exclusion to keep blacks, Hispanics, and ethnic groups subordinate, subservient. Me, I gotta go out here. I'm retired. I gotta go out here and get a job when my status quo, I am a billionaire. And as for the continued oppression, when this was first given to the president, immediately ordered the Treasury to disperse $3.141 billion. For the mathematical geniuses, 3.141 is pi. Whole pie. Yeah. So now, they continue the depression for another year, and now it's $6.75 billion. Now, 3.141 times 2, that's 2 pies. I need that money, and it brings trucks. And as I said, in order to do this, as I said, let me take a little bit more so it can be down there. Congressman Larry Bucshine was also called out to do this, and he didn't do it. Yeah, and that was his office where Christian was supposed to have sent that to him. As a matter of fact, as far as we go with this Congressman Larry Bucshine, this guy was supposed to have done that when it first came out. Nothing been done. Go to his office and his workers in there got attitude problems. Is it because I'm black? Or is it because I got power? It's because the truth shall set you free. $6.75 billion sets me free and a whole lot of y'all free. You see, you have to wake up sometimes. If a person got $50 million and he went about a house and he got a wife and 2 children and maybe 3 children, instead of that one person, that's 5 people that was taking care of about $50,000. I'm just saying. And 5 times 5 is 25. Do that 5, 25 times 5. 10, 15, 20. You see how many people gets taken care of. You make an establishment. That's generational money from generation to generation. Is that why the Black Caucus didn't take that to the floor? Or is they in bed with the man? They in bed with the man. Yeah. Sucking out the, you know, something? I'm saying that. I said it. The Black Caucus is corrupt, And in order for you all to get these voting rights, you get equality. That's what I'm sitting there telling you. I'm empowered to stop inequality. That means you get equality, you got voting rights and everything else that everybody got. But they played y'all. They playing y'all. Stop that. The congressman, as I showed you, Senators Todd Young, they not taking that to the floor to be addressed. That's mandatory by law. These are corrupt officials. It calls for them to be checked. Microphone check 1 2 1 2. Yeah, I'm empowered. It's a showdown, I told you, between me and United States Attorney General Merrick Garland. He represents them, I represent we the people. That's King Kong versus Godzilla. They playing God, I'll be the king. Kong ain't got nothing on me. And I don't use the N word for y'all to know. Stop calling yourselves daddy and stop being slaves. I'm just saying, I put it out there. Here we go. Yeah. LeBron James and all the rest of y'all, check this out. Yeah. NBA, you got a platform, give it to me. Pass the mic, you need something done. You ain't got no power. This is power. The Constitution checks and balances before the President of the United States. This is how you get your voting rights. This, get equality, and you got everything. Do it all in a nutshell. Tell you, that's the way it is. Walter, January 25, 2022. Yeah. Stop that corruption. Stop that. You know what I'm saying? You need to go see the wizard. Because you're acting like you need some courage. That's where the lion went to get his. You need a heart. Go see the wizard. But you need some freedom, justice, and equality. You need to come see me. And media, yeah, this is mandatory by law. The president is imposed his obligations under Article 2, Section 3, and faithfully see to it that the Constitution's checks and balances are executed. It's showtime. Thank you.